Hello, my name is Paula Mazvita Marowa. I'm 27 years old. I'm the founder and director of Rukanda Pride, a leather manufacturing and retailing company renowned for its craftsmanship and quality. So a lot of people wonder how I started Rukanda Pride, especially because it's a male-dominated industry. I was inspired by an old man who would make shoes under a tree in Chitungwiza. I decided to partner with him for some time until I introduced someone who was young and energetic, because this man was old and he could not push products as much as I wanted him to. So introducing this guy meant that we wanted a young energy. We wanted someone who would do production with speed, because we were trying to push production. Fast forward, I partnered again with someone who was doing belts and wallets. At this time, Rukanda Pride was not in any production. We were just partnering. So we partnered with someone who was making belts, shoes, wallets, and belts. This meaning that we started with shoes as our first product, and then we moved to belts because we saw a need. Most of our clients would complain that you sell us shoes without matching belts. So we started making belts that would match with the shoes. Then we got into wallets, we got into bags, we got into folders. And then 2019 ended, come 2020, and we got into COVID. COVID affected a lot of things, including business. But fortunately for us, we had to come up with a plan to survive. These guys that I had partnered with were working from home. So I was home because we're under a lockdown, but I also managed to partner with a delivering company that was making the deliveries for me, that was going and to collect the deposits for me, and literally doing most businesses for me, and then cash end of day. So we worked like that for the entirety of the COVID era up until end of 2021 when COVID ended. That's when we initially started production as Rukanda Pride. So when we started production, we increased our production capacity. At this time, I didn't have anyone to work with, because the people that I had partnered with started to somehow feel like I was becoming competition, because I wasn't going to give them business anymore. I had to find new people that were willing to learn again, beginning from shoes, wallets, belts, and everything else. I think the only consistent person that I had was the guy that I had introduced to the shoemaking. That was the only consistent person that I had at that time. So at least he had the knowledge of making shoes, but he didn't know how to make belts. He didn't know how to make every other product that we now have. I had to look for people, and mind you, people that make leather products are not easy to find. Unlike anyone that makes clothes or any other thing, leather manufacturers are not easy to find. So I had to find people that had to learn from scratch to do leather products. I think that's when we actually made one of our first business mistakes, because at that time, I remember we made a bag that was very flappy, and we had one of our clients complain on social media. As a business person, that almost took me out of business, because it was the first time that as a company we had public humiliation. That person was not willing to understand anything, because I mean, a bag at that time was $200. Imagine paying $200 for a product that is not satisfying. So I also had to learn how to rectify business mistakes. By the way, I don't come from any business background or any entrepreneurial background. My parents were corporate people. I didn't have any know-how of fixing business problems like those. So again, I had to learn on my own. And now it wasn't just myself, but I had a team of people behind me. That's when again we opened our store. It was now our second store, because our first store was in Greendale. This is now our second store, where we still are, Kona Samoan Enterprise. At this time, I think we got the hang of it. Fortunately, I found someone who was working somewhere else, but a long time ago. but they still had the knowledge of making leather products. They came on board, we started working with them, started training the other young guys, and the production process became perfect. So now that the production process was smooth and perfect, that ended our 2021 well. I think we actually did our first tender end of 2021. Come 2022, I'd like to say 2022 was one of our best years, because I think that's when we got a lot of awards as a company and as an individual. In 2022, I got into the Zimtrade Eagle's Nest. We went for exhibition in Zambia at the 94th Zambian Agricultural and Commercial Show. We also went for the Global Expo in Botswana. In 2022 as well, we made bags for different presidents. We made one for President Uhuru Kenyatta under a certain ministry. I will not mention. We also made a bag for the president and his presidium, and we presented it to Honorable Mthuli Ncube at the Exporters Conference. My advice to other young girls like me who dream big would be, know where your area of excellence is. If you know that you are a very good corporate person and you'd like to pursue that under a very good firm, and you probably feel like you climb the success ladder faster and easier and in your element better than when you're an entrepreneur, I would advise you take that route. But if you also feel that you are an entrepreneur, the journey is worth it. It's fulfilling and it's worth it.